In this video, I want to provide a framework to help science and engineering majors, as yourself if you're watching this, to help you plan your career within science or engineering. Now, the primary audience of this video is those who have reached their junior year. Now, if you're still in your freshman or sophomore year and you're still working your way through the physics and calculus elementary series, you have a little ways to wait till you really can consider yourself a science or engineering major, because so many people drop out by then. But if you get through it, you're locked in for you're locked into engineering or science for the long haul. So if you haven't finished your physics series and you need some help, I have a playlist of tutorials for physics that you can check out over here. Otherwise, if you are a junior, there are 3 questions you need to begin asking yourself in order to plan your career. Now, the key thing is, why should you start right now at junior year? You have a few more years left of college. Well, beginning of your senior year is when you need to make out your applications for graduate school, if that's what you want to do. And if you're going to go straight into industry, by the second semester of senior year, you better start applying and making resumes. So if you wait until your senior year to start asking yourself the questions that'll help you plan, well, you won't have had time to plan because you won't even know where you're going. So here are the 3 questions to help you focus in developing a plan for your future. First question: do you want to work in industry or in academia? Second question: how much education do you want? And third question: what is the field that you want to professionally study? Now, the answers to these questions should never be considered unchanging. They can change, and that has to work into your answers, because some of them you might need some flexibility, and you might need to completely change your answer to one of these questions. But you want to begin in junior year trying to answer those questions. So the first question, industry or academia. The second question, how much education? Third question, what's your field? These questions are weakly coupled. So perhaps your interest is some sort of theoretical physics, or the questions of quantum gravity. You're going to have to, then the answer to the other 2 questions are, you're going to be in academia and you're going to have to get a PhD. But that's something to really consider. Then, do you really want to be in academia? Is that future what you want? If not, if that's really important to you that you be in industry, then you're going to have to try to find another field, and vice versa. And some of the fields, though, you can do almost anything. Say your interest is in semiconductors. Well, some kind of semiconductor physics. Well, you could go into industry with maybe a master's or a PhD, or you could continue in academia. But these are things you need to explore and start asking, because you're not going to be able to. You want to have a good idea what you want to do by senior year. So if you spend your junior year asking your professors what do they like about their profession, is there anything, and think about it, do you want to be a professor? Do you want to be locked away in one office for the rest of your life? Is that what you want? But then you have the opportunity to study whatever you want. Do you want to move around, and so maybe you want to get into some kind of industry. Maybe you want to travel. Think about everything and ask people around what they like, what they don't like. Try to figure out what situation would be good for you. One thing I did that helped me a lot in figuring out what I want to do as far as a long-term goal is to ask the professors to do a presentation on how to get a PhD. And you can do it too. Just go ask your professors to do a seminar. How do you get a PhD in electrical engineering or in mathematics or in physics, whichever department you have? Obviously, these individuals know how to get a PhD, and they were successful at getting a tenured professorship. And you can gain a lot of information from having them do a seminar. It's very simple. And you can find out how long they took after their PhD, how much time they had to spend in postdoc work, and what they think about getting tenure and how hard it is, or all sorts of questions like that. And that can help you develop your understanding of whether or not you want to go into academia or even get a PhD. And if you're deciding to get a PhD, then you get information on how you can achieve that as well. More information that you can gain. One tactic I'd advise is also, if you're looking into industry, go to Craigslist or go to Monster and just read some job descriptions. Look around at job descriptions. See what they want. See if the job description in industry has what level of education they want. What kind of, and see if maybe the bachelor's, maybe the positions available to those with a bachelor's degree don't interest you, but the ones with master's or PhDs do. Maybe you can start looking into that. And look into the different types of positions out there. In engineering, there's more than just pure research. There's manufacturing engineer, which you're just working with the actual product and how to optimize the line. There's R&D, which is more closely related to what you do in school. And then there's application engineering or field service engineering, which involves going to the customer sites and setting up the products with the customer. That could be something of interest to you if you have an interest in customer service. Or you could even move into sales or some more on the business side if you have interest in that. Just look up job descriptions and think about, are these things that you'd like to do with your life? Are these the type of careers you'd like to do? And what kind of education do you need to get that kind of a career? And open your mind to all investigate anything that's interesting to you, and take classes that are interesting. And try to figure out what's interesting to you, so you can find find a combination of the answers to those three questions that works for you. If you can find that by junior year, then you can set a plan in place for graduate school, and you can work on getting the letters you need and finding the schools that have strong programs in the program you're interested in, or you can start looking for internships in the industries you want. But the beginning of working out that plan has to start by figuring out your answer to those three questions: academia or industry, how much education, and what's the field. If you begin in junior year asking those questions, you'll be able to have a focus, and you won't end up getting to the end of your graduation and finding out you prepared for a field that does not give you the career that you want, or vice versa, and everything's a mess. Starting junior year, figure out what you want. By senior year, you can go the direction you want. Just a few pieces of advice.